I'm Oral Hershiser, and I am on Blue Review. Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Reviews.
Bum, bum,
Uh, ba-da-da,
bum,
ba-bum.
bum. Ring.
Ring.
Wah, wah, wah. Bad
Yeah.
trumpet, bad trumpet.
No trumpets, more sad trombones. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant. That is Greg Bergman. We'll be joined by Anthony Witrado in just a bit. A gut punch of a loss last night, Greg. That's probably the easiest way to sum it up.
Yeah, man. And we were feeling so good of winning 4 or 5. You get a sweep of the Royals. I get who they are, but then you have the lead. You have a 2-run lead in the ninth inning, and you're feeling pretty good. You get one out, and then Edwin Diaz decided to be Edwin Diaz again, and that dude is a problem.
A mess for sure. Blowing his third save in the last week. The Dodgers lose 5-4 in the series opener against the Brewers. Still 3 more games left in the series. If they can win 2 of them, they will win the season series from Milwaukee, which could potentially be important down the stretch when it comes to tiebreakers. But we'll get into that and more. But first, as always, want to let you know that the Blue Review is powered by LAX. From practice to prime time, the all-electric LAX Skylink is being put through its paces and testing, getting ready to deliver a reliable and traffic-free airport experience. For more information, you can visit lawa.org/ESPN. All right. Let's bring in our pal Anthony Witrado,
What's up, Anthony?
who sat along and watched this with us last night. The three of us were talking about before the show the quotes from Dave Roberts, where he said, give me some other options. I can't just say change to lower leverage. I have to have other options. To be quite honest, none of these guys really are throwing the baseball great. Anthony, is it that simple? Is it that simple as they just have to ride it out with Edwin Diaz until he figures it out? Or are there other high leverage options for the ninth inning?
Yeah, I think that he is correct in that, okay, you have to give me another option before I just say replace him. 2 things with that. He's been about as bad as it can be in the bullpen. And so, there's plenty of other guys who are probably technically better than him right now. The other thing is you have a guy in your bullpen who's been effective, not been superb, but has been good, and who has experience in the role. Tanner Scott, and you just used him for one hitter last night. Um, the answer is staring him right in his face, and he made the call to the guy last night. And so, I understand the quote, but I think there also needs to be an understanding that you have another option currently. You've chosen not to use it at this point. And I get it. I was try to ride this out with him, Edwin Diaz, as long as you can. We're at the end of that now, though. After the back-to-back triples in Arizona, the rest of that inning, he actually looked pretty sharp. The outing after that, he actually looked pretty good. And then last night was, aside from that first slider to get the strikeout, he was a mess. And I know some of the contact against him wasn't hard, but it's the fact that the pitch location maybe wasn't where it should have been, and it wasn't fooling guys enough to get swing and miss. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think, Greg, it's interesting too that we talk about Tanner Scott as being the option right now, because my feeling last night before I went to sleep after that game was what's going on with Diaz right now feels a lot like what we went through last year with Tanner Scott, where he was struggling to find it out of the bullpen, and they just kept running him out there. And I think maybe the pinnacle was probably that game in Baltimore where Tanner Scott and Blake Trinan just let it get away after Yamamoto very nearly threw a no-hitter. They couldn't get 2 outs. They need to get 2 outs and couldn't get it done against the Orioles. This kind of felt, at least for me, emotionally like that. We saw Dave Roberts hang on with Tanner Scott as long as he could. Does this mean we have to endure some more Diaz outings in the near future?
So, from the quotes that you just read before, it sounds like he does want to do that. Even going back to that last game, Anthony, where where he was giving up everything. There was the first hit that scored a run to make it 4-3. It was off the plate, it was low, and it was just a reach out grab and hit over the right side. And you're like, okay, fine, that was a pitch that was off the plate, just kind of got that one. But then everything, it's almost as if he was lost everything at that point. And he just lost all confidence. He's like, oh my God, if they're going to get that, then I'm going to get smacked around. And then he was getting hit over and over and over again. Yes, soft contact, but he gave it up. He wasn't the resiliency that you need to see out of a closer, being like, okay, I still got one run. Let's just get through this, strike out, get someone out, and then we'll get out of here with a 4-3 win. That didn't happen. So I worry about what his confidence level is like, and even his quote. I just want to read his quote real fast from last night afterwards. This doesn't sound confident to me either. I've just got to do what they want to do. I want to do the best for the team. At the end of the day, if they give me the ball in the ninth, I'll try to do my job. If they give me the ball in another inning, I'll try to do my job. Got to be better. Got to be consistent. Like it still doesn't sound like a guy that really has that much confidence. He should be like, I'm the guy. Like, I know it was a bad outing. I got it. My pitches felt good. This is where I want to go. I just got to figure a little bit out my slider, but I'm good. I'm the guy in the ninth inning. He's sitting here saying, wherever you want me to play. I'm going to be a good teammate, which I appreciate, but you're the closer. You're the dude at the end of the game. You need to be the best out of everybody. And to what you were saying, I do think that it may be right on the precipice of Tanner Scott time. I think you maybe give him one more outing, and if he blows it again, which sucks, especially against the Brewers, that's it. I don't think you go much further than that.
I mean, I get what you're saying about wanting him to speak with confidence and sort of have these chest puffing quotes, but it's hard to do that when you've got an ERA over 11, when you have given up like 7 runs in more than that. I think it's like 9 runs in the last 5+ innings that he's thrown out there. He's giving up. Yeah, it was a little bit of soft contact yesterday, but it was very loud contact against Arizona. It's hard, I think, for anybody to sort of feel like you can still say that. And I think at the same time, if he comes out and he says stuff like that, I think we all sort of look at him kind of sideways in that instance. So, I mean, he's in a tough spot, understandably. I mean, he's missed so much time this season, and when he has pitched terribly. You just kind of wonder. We always talk about the trust tree and where everybody is on the trust tree, and it's maybe a trust bush at this point, because I don't know how high up that you really go. You've got Tanner Scott. I guess you've got Jack Dreyer there. Even Vesia last night was not particularly great. He eventually kind of wriggled out of it, but after he let the go-ahead run come across the plate, it is sort of a mess in the back end of that bullpen. I don't know if there are any easy answers other than in the short term. I think you take Diaz out of that 9th inning, you hand him to Tanner Scott until further notice, and you see if your closer in name at least, can figure his life out on the mound. So I think that's sort of it. So I get Dave Roberts' exasperation, but I don't know. He's the guy with the power to sort of make changes here, while the rest of us just kind of sit and sort of watch how things happen.
So do either of you give him one more outing, or you're just done?
I'm done with him.
Yeah.
And for the now.
Yeah.
I think the change happened last night. And I think too, if he comes out and he says, Greg, what you're saying, like, this is my spot, like, I know I got to be better, but it's mine. We probably are on here this morning calling him delusional. So I think I liked the comments last night, just because I thought it gave us a sense of self-awareness, and that he knows he doesn't currently have the stuff to get the job done. And what it said to me more than anything, it was not a lack of confidence. It was I understand that they have to think about this after what's recently happened. And if they do make that decision, I'll be okay with it. I won't pout. I won't act like it's the end of the world. I'll try to get better and get the 9th inning back. That's kind of how I took it. And for that, I thought he eased some of the pressure on Dave, who for some reason did not point immediately to Tanner Scott, who has a 2.25 ERA for the season, and over his last 13 games has a 0.79 ERA. Like, the guy's there in your bullpen currently right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% behind that because I don't know that right now you have the time to let him figure it out in those high leverage spots, right? I mean, at
Correct.
some point you got to use him. There's no doubt about that, but it can't be when you need those final three outs, and especially I think it's magnified in a series like this, knowing how important it is. In terms of obviously one your record towards the National League and trying to figure out your seed for the postseason, but also just in terms of kind of mentally and emotionally what it means against a team that you very likely could see in the postseason. And so I feel like this is the opportunity for Dave Roberts to just, the idea was to come into the series and sort of manage it like a postseason series. And I could tell you that if this were October and you have a closer that is struggling like that, I can't imagine a world where Dave Roberts is calling him from the bullpen. If this were, say if this were game 3 of the NLCS, like I don't think you see this version of Edwin Diaz coming out there. You see them try to piece it together with a Tanner Scott, with an Alex Vesia, with a Jack Dreyer. So I think in that regard, I get where Diaz is coming from. It's just ugly, man. And I think that's just sort of the long and short of it right now. So yeah, we'll see what Dave decides to do. If there's one thing we know about Dave Roberts, he is loyal to his guys. I mean, that was the same thing we said about Tanner Scott last year, was why is he still going out there in 9th innings? And it took a while for Dave Roberts to finally back off of that and try to piecemeal something together. So we will see. Chances are Edwin Diaz probably not even available for tonight if it came to that after what happened last night.
No way the guy's available tonight. But I mean, this is what you mentioned a little bit. This is what Dave's saying. I have to hold people accountable. I have to hold guys accountable, and I have to coach like I need to, or manage like I need to. And he did it with Teo, where he was taking him out in back-to-back games against a right-handed hitter. He came back in, or right-handed pitcher, excuse me, and then he brought him in a pinch hit situation, and he got a hit against a right-hander. So he knows how to work these guys, and I think to you guys' point also that it seems like I like the point you made, Anthony, about it allowed Dave to, if he needs to make the move, he's already said, like, hey, if I need to move into another spot, I completely understand it, and I'm not going to sit here and bitch and whine and complain. So that's, if he's going to manage like he says he's going to manage like it's postseason, then you will not see him again. I wouldn't be terribly pissed off if they did give him one more just to see, but, I think that Tanner Scott, I think we're all in agreement, is the guy.
Yeah, I think for now he's certainly the guy. All right, let's talk about some other parts of that game last night, because there were other parts of it that were actually better, that were actually sort of good. The whole thing started with Roki Sasaki, who looked really good, or goodish, through the first 3 innings. Then came the 4th, Anthony, where he was very nearly out of the situation, had the bases loaded, gets a strikeout, and you think, all right, just get one more. And then somehow couldn't find the strike zone with a map and a compass for the next couple of hitters, walked in a couple of runs, did battle through it. I mean, your overall thoughts on what you saw from Roki last night?
I keep saying with him, when he, in the last 2 or 2+ months, anytime he has run into like this sort of, when he's put himself in a situation that he used to crumble in, he's found a way to get himself out of it and then continue to throw, beyond that hiccup. And he did that again last night. And so I continue to be impressed by that resiliency. However, the same problems for him when he does have an issue, it's the same recurring one, and it's a lack of command, and he cannot find the strike zone with a fastball. And that is a problem. Now, it's less of a problem if you're pitching out of the bullpen when it matters the most. And so I'm mostly okay with it, and I thought that the start was mostly positive outside of those 10 minutes or so in that inning. But yeah, I think it's a matter of just when that starts to happen and go sideways, can you quickly correct it in the inning? And that has been a problem with him basically since we've seen him as a Dodger, is the in-inning adjustments and corrections that he's not been able to do, or not been able to pull off. Remember back in, feels like back in the day now, but when they were having to remove him from spring training games in the middle of an inning and then put him back in the following inning, he'd be okay. So it's still a matter of figuring that out when things start to go off the rails. But he's been good still. That hiccup aside, it was a pretty good start. And post All-Star break, he's still got an ERA that starts with a 2. So there's some promise here.
He goes 6 innings, 2 runs. Greg, I'm putting this partially on you.
I was gonna.
Not
I was
really,
gonna
but
take.
kinda.
I was gonna take it. I actually was ready to take that.
Because you said yesterday, we were talking to me and Travis, and you were like, there's still going to be those games where he goes out and he walks like 6 or 7 guys, and he had 5 walks last night. So would you like to stand up for yourself right now?
No, I don't even need to stand. I mean, I was actually right in that, I guess, where I said, like, I really liked the way that he was pitching going into the start, and I liked the way what he was using the offset pitches and blah, 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 all the stuff about it. But there was going to be outings where he was going to revert back to who he was, and he was going to walk a bunch of guys, maybe he's going to give a bunch of runs, but this was exactly that. He did walk 5 guys. He could not find the plate in that inning. You can't walk guys with the bases loaded. First of all, at that point, you just have to go and attack, and he's walking guys with the bases loaded. That's a problem. So even if you are in the bullpen, like you're talking about, Anthony, and you lose it in that inning, that's the worst part, what place you can be when you're in that situation. Walking guys and being in the bullpen, that's completely unacceptable. And, it's overall, there was a lot of positive. Also, I agree with you that there was a lot of good in there, but the walks were a problem, and trying to figure that the inning adjustments were also a problem. He's going to walk guys. He is not a seasoned pitcher at this point, and he doesn't have complete control of where anything is going right now. But I still like his approach, and he was still attacking. So, it was a little bit of an up and down outing for him, but overall, getting through 6 innings, that was positive. 2 runs.
I think that's sort of it, right? He did have the hiccup in the 4th inning, but he didn't let it snowball as much as it could have, because my fear is after he walked 1, and then he walked the 2nd, then my big fear was, okay, now he gives up a gapper and clears the bases, and suddenly it's 4-5-0, something like that. So the fact that he was able to at least regroup, get out of that inning, and then still after that get you 2 more scoreless innings, I think that's something that's worth noting, because as you'd mentioned, Anthony, in spring training, this thing would have snowballed. Even last year, I think, early on, that's the thing that, it could have turned into a 6-run inning or something like that. So I think that is certainly progress from what we've seen from Roki in the past. Other big thing, congrats to Max Muncy. You now have hit the most home runs in the history of Dodger Stadium of any single player, and he did it with Eric Karros in the booth. That's certainly a monumental accomplishment. Congratulations to him on that. Greg, he's become one of the big clutch hitters on this team. Like, I'm at a point now where when Max Muncy generally comes to the plate, I feel pretty good about the potential outcome, because he's swinging it as well as anybody right now.
We've always loved the way that he handles the strike zone just in general. And while he's still been, this year's been not as walking as much, he still understands the strike zone, and he's one of the best clutch hitters on the team. Yeah, I love what you're seeing from the resiliency from year to year that he has had, because he's had some years where he's batting right around 200 but still hitting 35 home runs, and this year he's putting it all back together like he has in the past. He is your quintessential Dodger, and I love the way that Eric Karros did all of it, because throughout the whole year, anytime he got a big hit or hit a home run, he would just go, "Do it, Munce!" And then when he hit that home run last night, "You did it, Munce!" Him and Eric Karros. So the fact that he passed Eric Karros and he was there to be able to witness that was all awesome. I love that. Eric Karros, by the way, was in the building in Colorado when his son hit a home run also, and like his other son was in the audience. He's been going through it this year, but having great moments with family and with the Dodgers.
Absolutely great. That was a great moment, certainly for everybody involved.
Do it, Munce.
By the way, side note to all this, another great moment for the Dodgers yesterday. Oral Hershiser got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Travis Rogers was there to participate and witness that. If you want to hear about it, you can go back and watch some of yesterday's show where Travis talked about just the moment of being involved with all these guys and how surreal the whole thing was. So congrats to Oral Hershiser on that. Do kind of want to end on a little bit of a kind of weird sort of sour note, because, Anthony, we didn't get your thoughts on this yesterday. The Lakers sale kind of took everybody by surprise. The immediate question for a lot of us is, well, what does this mean for the Dodgers? Your feelings, does this does this give you a little bit of pause about what this could mean for the Dodgers in the near future?
It gives me a little bit of pause because I think that it was so unexpected with the Lakers sale that they can say all of the he's never going to sell that they want about the Dodgers. Them thinking that that's probably the crown jewel for that portfolio. But I think I don't think you can stand on secure ground right now, having understood what happened to the Lakers. And I think one thing I want to correct in that, in the discussions about how this Lakers sale came about is that, he bought for $10 million, he sold for 12. Maybe it was a situation where he couldn't refuse the offer. That's not what happened.
No.
He did not make $2 billion. Mark Walter did not, because he didn't buy the Lakers for 10. That's what they were valued at when he bought them. That was the valuation. The valuation now is 12. We don't know how much he got out of this. And when he bought them the first time from the Buss family, he didn't buy all the shares. He already had some. He bought some more. They still kept some, as did some others. And so all the shares as a total were valued at $10 billion at that time. Now all the shares as a total are valued at 12, $2 billion difference. But he didn't buy for 10. He didn't sell for 12 because he also didn't sell all the shares. He sold all of his shares. And so that was sort of a reasoning for you make $2 billion in less than a year. Maybe that's hard to turn down. That's not the situation. And I really do think it was I need cash on hand quicker than I can get it from a bank, who may be reluctant to put out a loan like that right now. And so I think that has to give anybody a little bit of pause when they say, but he won't sell the Dodgers. Because I think 4 weeks ago, if you asked that about the Lakers, they would have looked at you crazy and said the same thing.
Yeah, I think you look at all the sort of build up into getting to where he is being the majority owner of the Lakers, right? You talked about he had shares, he continually added more, and eventually took over the controlling interest there. And the infrastructure build out, right? Talking about bringing in different people on the analytics side, on the scouting and development side, and really trying to build an infrastructure that, look, baseball and basketball are sort of different animals in terms of team building, but he was trying to build a machine on the Lakers side the same way he's built a machine on the Dodgers side. You don't just flip that and get rid of it in the space of 13, 14 months. Unless there is some other underlying issue there. We don't know what it is. People can speculate, but we don't for sure know what it is. And so I think that is enough. I saw the quotes from Stan Kasten saying, that the organization will continue to operate as normal. That sort of feels like you kind of have to say something like that. But I think we all kind of wait and watch. And, my advice right now is in the short term, just enjoy the baseball that we have. Enjoy the Dodgers as we know them, and if something happens, we'll worry about that when it happens. But I do think what happened with the Lakers creates more questions than it answers. But unfortunately, none of us have any answers close to it at this point.
The speculation is pretty easy to speculate what it's going to be. He's under federal investigation for fraud. I think that he's like, when you're going through that, whether or not you sell one asset, the other assets and all the other assets are under attack at that point, and people are going to come after it, and they're going to see if you're available. And you can say all you want that there's nothing, that no, we're business as usual, this is a Lakers thing. It's not. There's going to be more, and I would not be surprised if it goes more. So, like, to your point, Marcus, hope they win a third championship and win 3 in a row, because it could all change in the offseason.
Yeah, we'll see. Short term, it's about winning 1 in a row. Getting back on the beam against the Brewers tonight. Robert Gasser going for Milwaukee. Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound for the Dodgers. So we will see how this one turns out. In fact, the rest of the weekend should be interesting. Jacob Mizorowski going on Saturday, and then a great matchup on Sunday with Logan Henderson and Tarek Skubal in the finale there. So, Anthony, as always, appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
All right. In the meantime, stick around for the Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza. Thanks to Carlo for production assistance. Thanks to everybody in the chat as well. But that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. For Anthony, for Greg, I am Marcus. We'll see you on Monday morning, 6:30 to 6:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. See ya.
See ya.